Early in the morning, a Sunday, the date of which I can't remember, I prepared for my first field hunt with my dad and my dog Gus. We drove up to the club, Hunter's Creek, in Metamora, the car loaded with two large men, a yellow lab, and our shotguns. After an uneventful drive, we arrived at the creek, ready to go hunting for pheasant. We met up with the guide, got back in the car, and made our way out to the field. This was not only my first field hunt, but the second time Gus's had been used by our family for hunting altogether, so I was extremely excited. While this was not the first time I'd ever gone hunting, this is the first time I had gone hunting in anywhere that wasn't a box. We assembled our guns, loaded up with shells, and headed out to hunt. Before we could truly begin hunting, we first had to wait for Gus to calm down. A lab trained for hunting is great, but if you don't take him out for a while, he'll get a little crazy when you finally get around to it. Imagine the most happy and crazy dog you've ever seen. Now double that. I didn't even try not to laugh. He went completely insane. It took us a good 10 minutes of waiting before he was ready to go, and he had this big, dumb grin on his face the entire time. My dad and I were both dressed in gear appropriate for cold weather, as well as orange vests so we would stand out to each other. Caps, earplugs, and safety glasses were worn, all for our own protection. At this time, I was still the same height as my dad, around 6'2", and we were both taller than the guide. We didn't rely on camouflage because we were hunting birds, not deer. Pouches of shells were on our hip, since we needed to reload after every 2 shots. After Gus regained his sanity, we moved out, ready to shoot some birds. I had a 12-gauge automatic, while my dad had a 20-gauge over and under. We moved out towards a small river, really more of a creek, where Gus found our first bird. It flew up, and before we could react, we thought it was gone. However, it was clearly not the brightest bird in the flock because it simply perched in a tree above us. It's not considered very sporting to shoot a bird in a tree, so we were trying as hard as we could to make it fly away. For a bird, it was remarkably stubborn. Rocks, sticks, and loud noises didn't even faze it. After a few minutes of trying, the guide gave the go-ahead, and I simply shot the pheasant off his perch. With a sound that can only be described as a thwunk, it fell into the leaves, where Gus merrily retrieved it. He eventually brought it to the guide, who snapped its neck to make sure it was dead. With the first bird of the day dead, we moved on. After the hunt, inside, while the birds were being defeathered as much as possible was removed from their bodies, we ate dinner and discussed the hunt. We could look out and see the car, where Gus was eyeing us down, disappointed that he couldn't come inside with us. As soon as we were finished eating, we collected our birds. In the end, the day could be called a success, and we began our ride home.